What is up, my party people? Welcome back to another Mists of Pandaria classic video here. Today we're going to be talking about a PvP tier list on all of these specs in Mists of Pandaria DPS. We're going to break it down into melee, casters, and then healers. What is best? What should you play? What should you put some time into? What should you spend that boost on? We're going to talk about that today. Give you a little brief synopsis on what I've learned from playing the beta and where I think the classes will end up being roughly. But, you know, quick disclaimer. For one, this is just my personal subjective opinion, but two, I know people have very high, maybe nostalgic feelings about MoP PvP and that it was the best thing ever. Don't get me wrong, it's really fun, but the class designs are really fun, not necessarily the balance. So I want you to remember that in terms of picking these classes and how to take some of these tier lists, because if you're just trying to be the best of the best, you might have a different outlook on the game versus if you're just trying to have some fun, because these classes are super fun to play. All right, so let's get into it here. First, we're gonna start off with melee DPS, and then also one more thing. Actually, I did put an A+ tier just because people like to, even if I just did ABCD, they think that the bottom, the C classes are just not viable whatsoever. That's just not true. So we're just putting an A+ tier. Who cares? Just this is the order. All right, Frosty K up first on the bet. Frosty K, quite honestly, I haven't seen it enough to actually be able to give it a good answer, so I'm gonna keep it down at the C. I don't think it's that great, but I honestly have not seen one person play it yet, so we're gonna keep it down there for that. I think DK is kind of sleeper on my end. I think DK is pretty dang good, so I'm gonna keep it for up here for right now, because I think this is sleeper. I think people that are good at this, like, man, I've had some struggles as a healer. And if you are playing double DPS 2s, this is a killer into double DPS 2s. Like, I've seen some good ones, and man, it's tough. So we're going to keep it up there. Fury Warrior, again, I haven't seen Fury Warrior, but it is a warrior, so it does have all the same charge mechanics and utility. So I'm going to put it at B, because I don't think it's going to be worse than that, because warrior is just an absolute god, and we're going to just skip right through and put Arms Warrior S tier. Arms Warrior is hands down the best class in the game, no questions asked. No, don't look at anybody else's tier list if they put anything otherwise. Just completely disregard it. Warrior is the best class in the game, the most insane utility, really good damage, really good defensives. They have literally everything. Okay. Some people might say they don't have the, you know, what about this comp beats warrior? Sure, maybe at freaking BlizzCon they don't have the best 3v3 comp in the game, but you will play the game. 75% of all the players are going to be arms warriors, and this is the best class in the game. Okay, it's just hands down. Don't even need to go any further into that. Okay, enhanced warrior, surprising. Okay, so I think enhance is actually really good. So you know, we're used to seeing kind of like shitting on enhance in retail PvP, right? Because not that good. But honestly, man, I've seen some really good enhances, and they just pump. They just can one-shot you, and I mean that wins games. That's part of MoP, right? One shots. They have, you know, potentially instant cast hexes. Their instant cast LE blast that can hit for like 40% of your health on crits, and obviously Ascendance could just blast you and one-shot you, and you pair this with a hunter or a warrior, it's really good. So I'm gonna put it up there for that reason. Feral Druid. Okay, Feral Druid is a toughie, right? So Feral Druid, I'm gonna put it an A for now. It is hard. I was playing some Feral yesterday, and even someone who's playing so much Druid my life, this is a hard class to get down, but it has the potential to be really good. Is it as good as some of these other classes? I don't know. It kind of depends on the area that we're talking about. You know, obviously it can be a really good dueler, and 2v2 it can be pretty dang good with double DPS, but even then, like, I was playing it, and I was like very disappointed after playing a ton of Boomy that I could not heal as well, not nearly as well as I could on Boomy. So I think it's just okay. It's very hard. I think the good Ferals will feel like a higher tier for sure, but I think the average Feral is not going to feel that great. Okay, Sub Rogue. I'm gonna put Sub Rogue as an A tier, an A+ tier. I think Sub Rogue is just, it's solid for what it is. The setups are crazy. Subterfuge is nuts that you can't see. When Subterfuge in MoP is you literally can't see the person for 3 seconds. So you can't even target them to CC them unless you have an AoE CC. And then you just pair this with some of the other classes. It feels really good to play 1v1. It's amazing. Rogue Mage is still gonna be a top comp, so we're gonna keep it up there. I think the other Rogue specs are kind of fall in a weird place. I'm gonna put them both on B tier. I don't think they warrant a C tier just because they do have Rogue utility. They're nowhere on the same level as sub, but they're rogues, right? I mean, I haven't seen them a lot. I know I have maybe seen 1 or 2 combat, and they actually weren't that bad. So I'm gonna keep them down there. Okay, BM Hunter. I feel like all the hunters baseline kind of need to be in this A+ tier. They're pretty solid. How about we're gonna put B tier? We're gonna put this. We're gonna do this. We'll talk about all the hunters together. So we're gonna put the BM at A, and then the survival MM at A+. So survival hunter is really solid. You can get some massive explosive shots, and then just like the rot damage that survival has with the stats is really good. And then kind of similar boat but different style of damage is marksman hunter. The chimera shots, if you just get a lucky crit on a chimera shot, you could just evaporate somebody. They have pretty good healing off of it as well. Actually, honestly, all 3 of these classes have some pretty nice self survivability with spirit bond. And yeah, I think this is a good place to put them. The reason I put BM a little bit lower is it really doesn't have that punch that explosive shot or chimera shot brings with your pets, just because this is like the nerfed version of like Stampede, if you are playing that. So it's just, I feel like it doesn't have the punch, but it is a hunter, so it does have a scatter shot, wyvern shot, traps, and just really good utility overall. So I don't think I can warrant playing it any lower. Okay, Windwalker. Okay, so Windwalker is either the top A+ tier or S tier. Maybe I'm gonna save the S tier for the best of each class or best of each type to play, because like, again, depends how you think about it. In a 1v1 scenario, Windwalker is potentially the best class in the game with like a sub rogue. It is really, really strong. It could stick on targets like crazy, like even better than a warrior. Playing a healer a lot, I've noticed a lot of Windwalkers I just cannot shake them for the freaking life of me. So for that reason, I'm gonna put it at A+. I'm gonna try to keep this S tier as like the best of the best. So going on to, but yeah, if you haven't played Windwalker in MoP, highly recommend. Really fun class, different than retail. A lot of cool utility to express your skill, and actually really good self-healing as well with the healing orbs. Okay, and then last of the melee here, we're gonna Retribution Paladin. We're gonna go down to A tier on that. They do have their big wings. They do have some good utility with self-healing. Selfless Sealer is a pretty good ability. In MoP, just doesn't have the punch that some of the other DPS have, melee DPS specifically have, because everything revolves around that 3-minute wings. I think, where's the 2 minutes in Holy Paladin's 3 minutes? I think maybe Red's 2 minutes. But anyway, everything revolves around wings. Remember, this is like the years. We had years of people always talk about like Red. All of Red's damage just went into those windows, and then you were useless. This is kind of how it is. You have your one shot, but then you kind of have nothing. So okay, moving on to Boomy. Okay, so Boomy is an interesting one. I'm gonna put it in A+ tier. Some people might argue that it's an S tier class. The reason I'm gonna put it A+ is just because of this first season. So I've been playing mostly Boomy, and I would agree it's really good. It's got great healing. It's got everything. It's just the game is a little bit too fast, and we have not enough haste and crit to make it an S tier in my eyes. Yes, maybe you could play Warlock Boomy at a top tier and do really, really well, but I don't think it's up there. Like, you could still be completely shut down by some of these like Zuggear classes. Like, you queue into a turbo. Boomy is definitely not feeling like an S tier class, or the Hunters, because with a lot of the off CC. So I think Boomy will develop definitely to be an S tier class in further seasons, but I think in this first season I'm gonna put it at a little bit below, just because I don't think, because Star Charge procs rely on crits, and without haste, you're not able to actually press these buttons and reapply the dots fast enough and get clones fast enough that will make it up to like that dominant status. Okay, Fire Mage, I'm gonna move on. Fire Mage going down to A tier. I think Fire Mage is definitely viable, but it's more viable in specific comps. It really, you're just gonna play with certain comps to be, Fire God comp is good. Maybe Fire Boomy, maybe Fire Ellie will be a thing later on, but I don't think it's gonna be that good. Frost just kind of outshines it. On that note, we'll put Frost up here. I'll just put all the 3 mages up. So Arcane, not the worst. So like Arcane's probably better than these guys, just because again, mage utility. It just has to cast its damage, and it's doesn't really have that one like. If y'all remember MoP back or Arcane back in the original MoP, it was more of just like a one-shot class. Got like massive barrages and stuff. So you have like potential to do something, and again, you have polymorph, you have deep freeze, so like you have the same utility that mage has, which makes it so powerful, but you just don't have this consistent damage, consistent instant damage that frost has. And then the same thing with fire. As your critical strike rating gets higher, fire gets better. So there's a lot of classes that do rely on crit and that are not going to be as good in this first season, but they will scale really well going into the later seasons. Okay, Shadow Priest is a tricky one here. So Shadow Priest, I'm going to just put it at A tier. It's in a similar boat as Fire Mage in the fact that if you play God Comp, it feels amazing. But if you play literally anything but a mage, boof, right? So you go from a S tier comp to feeling like complete useless piece of doo-doo. If you do anything else. So we're gonna meet in the middle there. Shadow Priest is a fun class to play, like with all the procs and whatnot, but it has crappy self-healing compared to the other hybrids. It's not as tanky. You don't have good mobility. It's not in the early seasons. Maybe this will change in the later seasons. I think I think all the casters will probably improve as we get later into the seasons, but like I said, you play with a mage, or maybe you shouldn't play Shadow Priest. That's what I've been telling people that play Shadow Priest. A little recommendation: have a mage, buddy to play with all the time, or maybe you should rethink that. Okay, Ellie. For the sake of this, again, I'm gonna put Ellie at A tier. Later seasons, and if we're talking about specifically one comp, yes, maybe you could play LSD and be really, really good, but. And maybe Thunder, but outside of that, Ellie definitely seems like a little bit of a letdown in this first season. Can you make it work and do really well with it? Probably in some compositions, but it does not have the overall goodness of a class. And just in my opinion, I don't think it has everything for it, because I played some comps where like Ellie Boomy, or what else did I try? There's something else with an Ellie. It just could not kill anything. Okay, that was it. Like you play with a warrior. Even Frost Mage, like it can be good, but it takes forever to kill something, and you end up just being a dampener. So I think Ellie will definitely become a higher tier class, but for this season, I'm gonna put it down there. Aflock, I will put a little bit higher just because it has its instant cast damage. First season's gonna be very fast paced, and it's gonna favor a lot of melee, just like every first season is. And being able to never have to cast is such a plus. Like Shadow Priest. Has to cast all of the time. Ellie's gonna have to cast quite a bit as well. But Aflock, this is the expansion where you get Soul Burn, Soul Swap, so you can literally walk out the gates, pop all your cooldowns, Soul Burn, Soul Swap one guy, swap, 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 and then you never have to apply any dots, and then you just use Malefic Grasps and Haunts. So because of that reason, you're actually able to get your damage out very efficiently without having to worry about all the Zug that you're gonna see. Like the two big barriers that you're gonna get in the game are the Zug, as well as the instant cast CC. And if you have instant cast damage, that to kind of counter that whole, or to get momentum on your side in those short windows when you're not getting NS cloned into Palm Poly, into Fear. So having that ability is really good, and they're relatively tanky with their healing. Okay, Demo Lock is going down at A, maybe even B. Maybe I should put it on B. I'm gonna put it at high B for now. So the only scenario where I've seen Demo work, granted, maybe I haven't seen enough good ones. I did see it fight a really good Demo Boomy in 2s, and they were really good. They had their goes down with Chaos Waves and stuff. So maybe this is more of a skill thing, that it's just a really hard class to get down because it's not as OP as it was in the original season 1 of MoP. If you remember, Demo was like one-shotting everybody. So I don't think it's very. I played it. The Chaos Waves felt very underwhelming, and again with the Zug of the Zug pacing of the game, you're not really gonna have a chance to cast too much to generate that Fury in the first place. But it does have the potential to do it. So definitely possible to play it, but not gonna be up there with the other classes. Okay, and then Destro, I'm gonna put Destro here again. Kind of the same boat. It's gonna get much better as it's probably better than all of these. I'd put it better, definitely better than these two. it's kind of in the same boat, right? Like a really good Destro lock is going to excel because they're going to be able to know how to fake cast, get and create space and stuff. But if you're the average person locking on a Destro lock, you are going to have, it's going to be a nightmare. You're going to queue into, every game is going to be a warrior. You're going to try to, you're going to juke the kick, and you're going to go for the chaos bolt. Then he's going to pop reflect, and you're going to have to eat the reflect. And then you're going to cast again, then he's going to charge you. And then you're going to try cast again, then he's going to stormbolt you. And then he's going to shockwave you. And then he's going to fear you. And then he's going to have to kick again. So it is quite miserable to play a casted caster right now in this first season, just because of how prominent warriors are. And I think this warrior being this good is literally shutting down, you know, some of these casters in the first season. All casters will improve though, okay? Keep that in mind. So that is it for the caster section. Now we're going to go into healers. So healers, we got a no-brainer. We got the Wrestle Druid up top. Wrestle Druid just kind of has the full toolkit. Specifically, it's instant CC, and that's the most important thing. It not only has good healing, it has very, very good CC with Cyclone. You have 1 minute cooldown NS, which Boomy also has as well, which is pretty nuts. And yeah, potentially Hibernate to use. Instant cast Hibernate. You have Incap Roar into clones, so you get those guaranteed clones. You have Displacer to get those CCs in the first place or to get away. What other things you got? You have the ability to use Maim pretty well, and it just synergizes really well with, you know, pretty much the other S tier classes, which also helps out quite a bit. Frost Mage, Ardruid is really good with the CC. Arms Warrior, Ardruid is really good just because Ardruid is just really good at surviving, and Warrior could just win off dampening. So for that reason, we're going up there. So I'm keeping this S tier. I mean, I know it's not traditional of most S tier or tier list, but I'm keeping the S tier for the best of each. So those are your best each. Okay, Holy Paladin, I'm gonna put at an A tier right now. So Holy Paladin is in the same boat as all of these. So if you have a ton of critical strike rating, Paladin feels good or decent. But if you don't have crit, which the first season we have relatively low crit, it's going to be a struggle. I'll say that right now. Like it has the utility, it has the potential. It just does not. It needs to be critting all the time because the crit heals are insane. But if you don't crit, you feel really, really underwhelming. So similar kind of both to Fire Mage and Boomy, but the more crit you have. So I think Holy Paladin will definitely get better. I mean, you can even argue it's down even to a B tier right now. But I'm going to put it A tier just because I've played it, and I think the cooldowns, you know, again, just kind of going along with every first season with being Zuggier in nature, and having Bubble with 2 bops can, you know, just win you games alone, just look at how fast-paced everything might be going. You just bop early and then get a kill. So I don't think I can warrant putting it any lower than that. Okay, Mistweaver is... I want to put Mistweaver on the same tier, but probably slightly higher. In 2s, it's definitely... So if we were talking about a 2s list, it would definitely be up here. But I think overall, we'll put it at an A tier. I don't want to be deceptive in it because I don't think it's anywhere close to Ardruid. But yeah, so Mistweaver can do really, really well in 2s with damage. Mana is kind of tough. And 3s, it's okay. The healing orbs are really, really powerful, but again, you'll oom yourself doing it. Probably will feel better later as we get, you know, later into the season. It's just I don't see it being too powerful at the moment. Yeah, I don't think now the more I think about it, it's a fun class though. So if you haven't ever played MoP Mistweaver, it's really, really fun, interesting gameplay, weaving in the damage and the healing. You can also fist weave if you'd like. Okay, Holy Priest I'll put at the A+ tier just because it does have really good synergies with a lot of classes that are really good as well. It just works so well with hunters, rogues, and frost mages, which are the top classes, or some of the top classes right now. So because of that, the Chastised Sphere with spectral guys, you can literally be on, you know, Dalaran sewers, press feather spectral guys, and get from one box behind one box to behind the other box and fear something without them ever seeing you. And like, you know, that kind of stuff alone is just so powerful because fear is just amazing in this. You know, the 8 second with the possible fear pathing is just amazing. The healing, pretty good, I would say. You know, you have Guardian Spirit, you have your big Serenities that give you more crit rating, and again, with more crit, this will even feel even better. But I'll keep it there for now. It's got good utility to synergize with a lot of these other classes. Arsham is definitely going to go up there as well. Arsham is really good. Personally, I'm not a biggest fan of Arsham just because it's kind of a dry class. But grounding is really, really important, and pretty much the skill potential of Arsham is kicking and grounding. So if that's up your alley and that gives you that, I don't know, gets you all giddy inside when you ground something, maybe Arsham is for you. But I think it's really good. I think potential in 3s to be up there with Ardruid, but I think in general it's going to be a little bit lower just because of the overall nature of it, and the Cyclone is just amazing to play. So I think it's very close to Ardruid, but it's I don't want to put on S tier. Okay, Disc Priest, pretty underwhelming, man. I think Disc Priest is just the clear worst healer. I wish, like, I played it and I feel like it has some potential in some comps to be okay. Like, I think if you're playing exclusively with hunters, I think it could be up here. But outside of that, it's not great. You just don't have Chastise, which kind of makes it really nice for Disc Priest, and you also, or the compared to Holy Priest, and you could also play, or you also have your Serenity. That's a big chunky heal. The one playstyle that I did play with Disc that made me have a little bit of hope was I was playing Divine Insight, which I don't know why I never played that. It's every time you penance, you get a free shield, but you just So it's like the one way you could have the throughput, you just and right now with all this instant cast CC, you're kind of just in a rough spot because you don't have the recovery heals that some of these other healers do, and because of that you're forced to cast, which opens you up to kicks and even more CC. So for that reason, we're going to put it down at the B tier. All right, so that is my personal tier list. Okay, again, I just kind of put these S tier classes as the kings of each category of healer, or category of specs. And yeah, so every class is fun though. I will say that you'll log at any of these specs, you will have something to look forward to pressing. You'll have like a feeling of spec identity, and they all feel really, really fun to play. So don't think too harshly on them on the tier list, you know, unless you're trying to play the top of the ladder, which probably isn't most of y'all. So have some fun with it. Really, really gonna enjoy the expansion if you haven't ever played it. So that's it for me. Peace out.